Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lin Li Fu.
Money FM 89.3, it's Lin Li with you. Happy Friday. Now today we're looking at a cultural juggernaut that's no longer niche. Anime, once seen as a Japanese subculture, it's now a global industry with fans stretching from Tokyo to Toronto, Jakarta to New York. And according to market research, the global anime market is now valued at over $30 billion with projections to almost double by 2030. That kind of growth puts anime in the same league as K-pop or Hollywood franchises, but it also raises new challenges. How do you manage IP across borders, localize for different markets, and keep an increasingly global fan base engaged? To help us unpack this, I'm joined in the studio by Kendrick Wong, CEO of Kasagi Labo, a Singapore-based company aiming to redraw the anime map for a worldwide audience. Kendrick, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Kendrick, market research shows the industry is booming, but from your perspective, what's really driving this surge in global demand for anime?
So there was time during COVID whereby you couldn't produce any new movies, any live actions. And that really drove the demand for anime because you just had a huge amount of demand for consumption, but you had a lack of supply. So that was the initial growth driver. The secondary growth driver was the streaming. So historically, anime was distributed via DVDs. And then when you had these giant streaming sites, Crunchyroll and Netflix come along, and then with COVID as well, it just provided a huge catalyst for the growth of anime.
So just open the floodgates.
It opened the floodgates. And anime used to be a very, how to describe it, more of a sensitive topic to talk about.
Okay.
Because if you like anime, you never spoke about it. But it's getting a lot of mainstream appeal after COVID.
Okay, why is that?
Because anime is seen as a bit of a geeky thing, a dorky thing. It's a subculture, historically. Now it's moved to mainstream culture, but historically it's very, very sub. And you just those nerdy kids in school watching anime, so it's very hard for you to talk to your friends. Okay. And then only you happen to see a friend carrying some anime device, then you start talking to each other about it.
But what was the draw? Why do people like that subculture? What were the main themes of anime at the time?
Oh, the depth of the content. Every genre goes very deep. And the way that the Japanese write it is they touch your soul into how they describe different topics. So a lot of times, and I think this one also hits a bit of to Asian culture, whereby we tend to smooth over a lot of the deeper conversations within families.
Okay.
Anime tends to touch those kind of deeper conversations. Okay. And it lets us resonate with how we're feeling internally.
I suppose it's friendship, resilience, imagination, things like that.
It's friendship, imagination, but it goes into love, it goes into betrayal, it goes into how you're able to grow as a person.
Wow, themes that are universal, I suppose. Now, that momentum has led some to say anime has already gone mainstream, with so many platforms having anime. While others argue it's still niche compared to K-pop or Marvel. So from your vantage point, which one is closer to the truth?
I think it's the former. Okay. I think the downside of anime and the reason why it's seen as still seen very small is because anime is historically not very good at marketing compared to the other industries. You have Hollywood and then you have K-pop, which are excellent marketers. They have perfected the art of how do you garner attention over a wide period of time and a wide audience. But anime, if you look towards most of the shows that are released, there's very little marketing done. So a lot of it is stealth launches. And because it's stealth launch, you never think that the anime is very popular. But now you look towards, let's say, the stats that Netflix has released, for example, more than 50% of their audience base have watched an anime. Okay,
so would you say we're still in the early stages of building anime?
I think we're in the early stages. But we're seeing it go mainstream as well. So you can see, for example, Adidas and Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a collaboration. Doraemon and Gucci. So these are starting to get a lot of mainstream appeal at this point in time. It's just that the demand for it comes mainly from the younger audiences. Whereas the older demographic controls the budgets usually.
Okay, let's talk more about that because traditionally anime made money from broadcast deals, DVDs and merchandise. But today that business model is shifting very quickly. So tell us more about licensing, merchandising and fan platforms. How are those changing the economics of anime?
So historically, 90% of your revenue from producing anime came from DVD sales. And DVD sales were seen as the purchase point for like the otakus. So they purchase these high product items and then they recoup the entirety of the anime investment through this. But it has shifted completely with the rise of streaming. So with streaming, you have like Netflix and Crunchyroll paying the bulk of the cost. So they pay like 80%, 90% of the cost now. So that's how the anime production committees recoup the money. Then licensing is for merchandising comes after. So if the anime takes off, then the majority of the revenue then comes from licensing and merchandising. It just supersedes everything else you could possibly do, simply because the revenue or the revenue multiple on that is just very, very high. So let's go into some examples of like licensing.
Okay.
You can do things like VTubers, you can do gaming, you can do live TV, live shows, you can do, let's say, merchandise drops, limited drops.
Okay.
So they drive a huge demand for the collector markets, especially.
So digital art, virtual events, things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it reminds me of how K-pop scaled globally, music, merchandise, live shows, fan communities. Do you see anime going down the same path, or perhaps it might carve out something different?
It's really going down the same path. So you go, let's say, towards even Korea, you find that there's some anime cafes celebrating the birthdays of anime characters. So it's quite an interesting phenomenon. But there's less organization or fandom organization around anime. So you asked just now around, let's say, how does a fandom thrive, right? What kind of like technologies operate for that? So interestingly, there's very few dedicated platforms for anime at this point in time. And it's very difficult for you to have conversations with other anime friends. There's, for example, if you go onto, let's say, Reddit, you just search on Reddit for like Reddit anime friends. And you find there's some threads speaking about how difficult it is to find people who actually like anime in Singapore. Even though the population of it is very high. It's simply because there's just no centralized location for this to happen.
I see. So do you think the challenge is connecting those worlds in a consistent way?
Yeah, yes. So one of the things we're doing is that we're hosting a masterclass with a guy called Masao Maruyama. He's the founder of MAPPA. And we're doing it in like the 3rd of October. And the entire reason to why we're doing it is because we simply just want to educate the younger generation on how anime is produced.
Okay. So tell me about this demographic of anime fans.
So it's very wide. You go to Reddit, for example, you read a thread. That thread targets the 40-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like hundreds of people replying a thread that targeting the 40-year-olds.
Okay.
But if we look towards, let's say, anime fandom, like physical events. So in Southeast Asia, physical events for anime is huge. And they're price sensitive. So you find that those who attend the anime events are anywhere from like 12-year-olds all the way up until, let's say, 35-year-olds. Now, the 35-year-olds and above, what they do is that they go into smaller groups. And they go because they have professional lives and whatnot. But they still also occasionally dabble in cosplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of these fans and how they connect with anime IP, let's talk a bit about Kasagi Labo. You're not just producing anime, you're building digital platforms and virtual experiences. Tell us more. So
what we do is that we do two things in particular. We are investing and producing our own anime IPs. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're looking for anime IPs that's like underrepresented or underappreciated in Japan that has a very strong global appeal. The second thing we're doing is that we're building digital fandoms. And so a simple reason as well, which is that if you think about, let's say, how anime fans connect together today, you have, let's say, Discord for like friend discussions. You have Reddit for, let's say, thread discussions. You have, let's say, TikTok, Instagram for like discovery of new anime. But every touch point is like fragmented from each other. So we're building an anime platform to like unify the entire fandom. So you have basically one universal anime ID across the entirety of your anime fandom. Whether you're watching Attack on Titans, JJK, anything you want to watch, basically. Okay. Kendrick, I'm just wondering, because earlier we talked about how anime is a subculture, but there were many people and still many people who are interested in it because of some of the universal themes. I would call that the heart of anime. So with anime fans being famously passionate and all this innovation going on, how do you make sure that heart of anime isn't lost in the process? Oh, that's interesting. So I guess the only way I can describe that is that if you look towards anime today, it covers a huge spectrum of different topics. And the animes that actually get popular are the animes that are something that you resonate with very deeply. So I'll give you two examples. So Naruto can be seen as an anime that's based upon friendship, but it can also be seen as an anime based upon revenge. And both are very central themes in most people's lives. They get very angry at one point in time, and they need their friends to be around them to cool them down. There's another anime that's called Serial Experiments Lain. That is more of a niche anime, but the fan base is cultish. Okay. And the anime is about how you start losing yourself online. And that with the rise of like the internet, and this anime was produced like 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you start uploading your digital conscience, your physical conscience into a digital world, and you start forgetting exactly who you are because you live in a different realm. But imagine this anime being created 25 years ago, right? It's like it hits very differently from what it hits it today.
Okay, I suppose it's all about authenticity.
Yes.
Right? The technology should never overshadow the storytelling. Well, you could have built Kasagi Labo anywhere. Tokyo, LA, even Seoul. So why Singapore and why now?
So it was Singapore because of two reasons. The first one was that Singapore is a very interesting place for a center point of entertainment and IP within Southeast Asia. It's a bit harder to do it in, let's say, in any other Southeast Asian country because of how IP flows through Singapore. So most of the big IP events are Singapore-based. The reason why not like LA and Tokyo is because in LA, the time zone difference to our key market, which is Tokyo, is a bit too far.
I see.
And not Tokyo because of the taxation rate.
Yeah, I'm sure Singapore gives you access to many international investors as well.
Actually, less,
Okay.
So I don't think Singapore is a great base for raising funds if you're in the entertainment industry.
Okay, wow.
Because Singapore is more risk-averse to this kind of place compared to others. So I'll give you a direct example. For us, we only raise from the US or from Japan.
Okay, and you want to talk more about how much you've raised so far in the pre-series A?
We raised 20 million USD.
Wow.
So,
okay.
But we didn't publicly announce it.
Okay,
we only
so
announced
this
a
is
small
the first time.
component
Wow.
of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we understand that Singapore isn't producing anime here, but it's, I suppose, emerging as the bridge, connecting Japanese creators with Southeast Asian fans, while hopefully giving more investors confidence that this can scale globally. I think it's a powerful role for a small country in any case.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've got a very bold goal, building a platform that connects 1 billion anime fans. What does that vision look like in practice? And how will you measure progress?
So that's actually hard. So when you build a new product, the hardest thing to do is basically like, how do you know where you're in the right direction? So you need a North Star. Mm-hmm. In our case, our North Star is the number of retained users over a 30-day rolling period. So that's just simply it. So the way that we measure our success or our failure is in how many anime fans we're able to onboard and retain within our platform itself. So the platform we're building isn't live yet. We're still in the beta testing phase at this point in time. But we're scheduled to go live end of this year.
Okay. And if we fast forward 5 years, what do you think will surprise people most about where anime has gone as an industry?
I think most of the times when people are surprised is that the industry has like picked up at such a rapid rate that when you close your eyes and you open your eyes again, there are a lot of collaborations with anime IPs around the world. And I think that is a shocking thing because it moves anime from a very tiny like subculture into a mainstream appeal. And I think that is the most surprising thing for people. It's the same thing that happened for K-pop as well. It's that at one moment the world just heard about K-pop and the next moment everyone else is like part of the BTS army.
So do you think we'll see crossovers with perhaps Hollywood?
Oh, it's happening already. Anime and Hollywood are doing crossovers at this point in time. I mean, you can see in the latest, like, Lord of the Rings has a collaboration with anime and it released a new title as well. There's a few DC IPs that's doing the same thing as well. I can't name the titles, but I know the studios that's producing it. So there's a lot of collaborations happening between Hollywood and anime.
Okay, sounds like it's not going to take very long before anime becomes mainstream.
I think it again depends upon the production committees and how well they market it as well. But I don't think the time is far away. Maybe it's like 3 years, 5 years.
Okay.
I think within that time frame is going to be a huge surprise to a lot of people.
Exciting stuff. Kendrick, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing with us your insights into how anime is evolving from a niche culture into a truly global industry and the role Singapore is playing in that journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for this.
Kendrick Wong, CEO of Kasagi Labo. Kasagi Labo is a Singapore-based anime venture studio connecting existing Japanese anime intellectual properties and creators with global fans and markets. This has been Industry Insight on Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.